know what I gotta do. Okay, I see what I did. Okay.
All right, welcome, guys. Sorry, I totally missed I wasn't paying attention. Nick and I were talking. I totally missed the missed the thing. But welcome to another coil building live stream with N.Devine, and we've got Wire Talk with Big G for the first time ever on the channel. You guys know Nick. G, you want to introduce yourself to the viewers?
Yeah, no probs. I'm Big G. I'm host over on Wire Talk with Big G on YouTube. Also Coil Builder once again.
Are you with the Resistance
Yeah.
crew or no? That's not you.
Very recently, from yesterday.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I'm fucking buzzing.
Yeah, I
Absolutely
bet.
buzzing about
That's pretty
We did a
prestigious.
vote. We did a vote. I said no, but they still let them in.
Majority rules.
Those bastards.
You know what's funny about that? I'm going to tell you what's funny about that is we'll do the vote in the chat. I think we recently stopped doing this, but we did the vote in the chat. And there's been a couple times where people have said, not to Big G, but to other people, they'd be like, nah, I don't think he should be here. Nah, I don't think he's good enough. And then the person gets in and then they could read the messenger chat. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you guys get a lot of applicants?
A lot of people ask.
I bet.
A lot of people ask.
Dude, there's some fire builders.
Still ask?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple that keep it, like, they ask me, whenever there's an opening, let them know.
How many people do you have on the team? You guys cap it at a certain number?
Yeah, around a certain number. But, like, let's say if there's somebody that is really good that we could get in, then we're gonna get off of that number a little bit. We're at like 13 or 14. And then if somebody's not active, people just get other stuff to do.
Yeah.
And they get out of the hobby and stuff. But sometimes we'll leave like we've had people leave and come back too.
Oh,
like
that's
they
cool.
Just get out of it and then they come back, or we ask them to come back. Like recently, Richie Oliver.
I've heard that.
He left because he got into photography a lot. But we were like, why even leave? Just stay in the chat, and if you want to build, you build, and you're good for the camera stuff. So we could always have you to talk about with that. And now he's thinking about building again.
Oh, good.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to be doing, Nick's already got some stuff in the works, but I'm going to be building along with him, doing some micro Clapton Helix varieties. Big G, you going to follow along, do something else? What are you doing?
It's late here, so I can't get the drill going, but I might do a braid.
Okay, all right. He might just hang out and bullshit with us. Either way, I'm going to try to use up I have some 34 Mad Rabbit, so I'm going to try to use that. And I'm going to probably wrap that with some 42 and go from there and just start throwing some crazy shit on it. What are you going to work with? Are you going to do that 37?
Yeah, I'm going to use that, I think, because how far can you set your stuff apart from each other?
Right now, not very far. I'm not set up for like that kind of production length. So I'll probably do cores at a time to wrap together for the Helix. So it's just going to take me a little bit longer with the setting up and everything, but I'll get there eventually.
If you do like, I don't know if you could do like, 32 inch. If you could do like 3 32 inches, that would probably get you there.
Yeah, I literally have about a foot.
So the good thing about this build is you don't need to Clapton it all. Like I'm parallel Claptoning with a bare wire and a micro Clapton. Let me show. I'm
going to try to get myself some more length here, but I want to keep it on camera if possible, and I don't have a whole ton of room to work with.
Yeah, I would just do as big as you can. We'll probably get you there.
Okay. Yeah, this should be enough. And hopefully, yeah, that'll still be on camera. And I don't know if my overhead's working. Let's see. Yeah, cool. Okay. Let's take that logo off. All right. Let me check up on chat before I get started here. If I can locate it. What's going on, Jay Blaze? Thanks for being here. VDog55, Crazy Coils, Derek, what's up, man? Jay Jerry, Frank, Urban Redneck Reviews, love that name. James Hillard, Matthew, Dave. All right, welcome, guys. Thanks for being here. All right, if you guys want to follow along at home, by all means, if you have any questions about what we're doing, let us know. Drop it in chat. Maybe G can help us keep up with that if he's not busy braiding. He can call out questions, and Nick and I can answer them. He can answer them. He's a better builder than I am, so... yeah, so I'm gonna get started.
Just get it as big as you can. That should be good enough.
All right.
That's what Chris Hyde tells his girlfriend too. I'm just gonna get it as big as I can. It should be good enough.
All right, this is kind of wonky. So this thing's gonna be like a spring once we put this together.
It is. It's very springy. I'm actually thinking of why. I think I'm going to use 28 gauge for the cores of the micro Clapton thing. I'm going to go get a drink real quick, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing with this, so you kind of get how you're going to be able to like stretch out that micro Clapton a lot. You're going to be able to get a lot out of a little bit because it's a parallel Clapton. Oh, we're getting compliments on our hairdos, guys.
All right, our quarantine hair. I need a haircut. Jess is gonna cut my hair tomorrow.
My missus actually just cut my hair earlier on because I can't get out for a haircut.
It looks good. Are you guys in quarantine crazy like we are? You guys don't have it as bad as we do, huh?
We're totally locked down over here.
You're prime minister. Do you have a prime minister or president? I forget.
Prime Minister. He was infected.
He's fucking awesome, isn't he? Wasn't he going back to work as a doctor?
Oh yeah. No. He was in intensive care. He had COVID.
Oh wait, so you're in England, not Ireland, right?
No, I'm still UK.
Okay.
Northern Ireland's
Boris.
part of UK.
Boris.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought
Boris
you were in
Johnson.
Ireland.
We call him Bojo.
Bojo. Yeah, he's kind of like your Trump in a way.
He really is in a lot of ways. Actually, he's got kind of the same views.
Yeah.
Just doesn't run around grabbing women by the privates.
That's always a plus. The bar has been lowered. That's for sure.
Have you feeling any better, Kenny?
I am actually. Yesterday and today I've been feeling better than I have in a while. Oh shit, my drill's not plugged in. Fuck. Yeah, I'm finally starting to feel better, thank God.
So you were still working out and all feeling sick, huh?
I was trying. I haven't worked out in a while though. Like since I made that video about it, I haven't worked out since because I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it.
Yeah, sometimes it is good to sweat. You know what my mom used to make me do when I was sick?
What?
And she still does it. We used to get and it makes you feel so much better too. Like, you know how a hot shower makes you feel a lot better?
Yeah.
So most people like saunas. I've never been in a sauna before, but basically what we would do is we would get a spaghetti pot and we would boil water in the spaghetti pot. You only have to fill it up just a little. You don't have to fill it up crazy. Just like not even halfway the spaghetti pot. You boil the water and then you put the boiled water on the table and then you get a towel and you put it over your head to make
I've
a dome.
heard of this. Yep.
And you basically just inhale the steam coming off of the boiled water, and it breaks up all your mucus in your head. It makes you feel like your head's in a sauna. For a head cold, it's good for.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that because I'm really congested still.
And if you have like Vicks Vapor Rub, and you could put that on your face before you do that, or like maybe just some rubbing alcohol.
Yeah. Okay.
That's really gonna break you up. Yeah. But even just without that stuff, it does a whole lot.
Man, I can't even see this 42.
There's our first question. Frank Einstein. Question for the panel. Big G, would you rather live in the Shire or a swamp? Cheers, Frank.
Definitely the Shire. Well, the Shire, I guess all the buildings are really small, right?
Yeah.
So that would kind of suck. But the swamp seems way more dangerous. Way more dangerous.
He's implying I'm Shrek.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Frank's my personal troll.
Yeah.
In a good way. It's all banter.
All right.
I broke the core already. Off to a fantastic start.
Okay, so I have a micro Clapton on this here. Silicone. What's it called? Bobby's bobbins.
I gotta get myself
Bobby's
some of those.
bobbins. And I'm gonna get some 28 gauge out. This 29 was way too thin. I should probably actually use 27. Let's do 27. Yeah, I'm gonna do 27.
Who do you get all your off gauge from?
Well, Twisted Messes has a good amount of off gauge, but Coil Society also. A micro Clapton is usually a small core with a very high gauge over it. So for instance, this is my micro Clapton. It is 37 gauge with 44 gauge over it. That's typically a micro Clapton. People have been mixing up micro Claptons with micro aliens from mouth to lung. Those aren't micro aliens. I don't think they are. I don't like when people mix up names because then it gets people confused. I've literally had people order micro Clapton aliens, and I did a whole micro Clapton build that took about an hour to do, and all they wanted was a mouth to lung. Get confused. A micro Clapton is usually a very, very small Clapton. Like this Clapton is extremely small. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see the Clapton on there. No, no.
Kind of see it.
A piece of 37 gauge with 44 over it. So now I'm going to take 27 gauge for the core of this. I'm going to get out. I need about 18 inches of it. 18 inches of 27 gauge. Stretch it to make it straight. And then what I'm going to do get the bobby pin in there. I use a bobby pin so it's easier to hook the 27 gauge up center. You could use a piece of 20 gauge, whatever you want. Just do that. Gives me a little loop.
Thanks. Asking what's everyone been binging on lately, TV wise?
Dude, I actually haven't watched TV in a little bit. We have literally been playing Mario Brothers the past 3 days. And if not, I'm working and sleeping. That's pretty much all I've been doing. We're up to the last board, the last castle in Mario Brothers Wii. And we literally just played it for 2.5 hours and didn't beat it. So I'm super busy with important stuff. Don't have time to watch TV. Bowser's a fucking bitch too, man. I don't know how that motherfucker got so big so quick, but he got fucking big. I don't know if either of you have ever played that.
No. kind of miss gaming, but I'm kind of glad at the same time because I got heavily addicted to games.
Yeah, I gotta order some more for the Wii. It's definitely a good way to waste time when you're inside all the time. Especially if there's a couple people inside. It's a good way to waste time.
I always play like Mario Kart when I'm overseeing my nephew and my niece, you know.
Oh, I love Mario Kart for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that's exactly what he plays it on as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Mario Kart. It's one of the best games ever made, in my opinion.
Just wholesome, good-natured fun.
And it's always different. It's kind of like the first-person shooters where it's always different.
Yep.
Challenging.
All right. First one's done. I'm going to do... Should I do 3 of these total or just 2?
You can do 2, but the final step when you get to the Helix is you actually Helix with one of them micro Clapton. So you actually, to do what I'm doing, you're going to need 3.
I think I'm probably going to do a variation of what you're doing. I'm not going to follow you exactly.
Yeah.
I might do some sort of parallel something with this to get this to where I can like get it at like a 0.0 or 0.1, 0.08 is what I'm going to shoot for in a dual coil if I can get 2 coils out of this. So maybe I'll make some kind of like maybe an alien and parallel the Helix and the alien together if I can get the diameters close. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't done a Helix in like a year and a half, 2 years though, so I forget if it's 2 together and then Helix in there, or I know 3 nice and tight will look cool and give it some more mass, but it's been a while, so I don't really remember.
Yeah. You could do, it's just twisted wire, and then in the grooves, you just put something. So it depends how many twisted wires you use. So if you use 2, you're going to have 2 wires going up. If you use 3, you're going to have 3, and so on and so on.
Right. Okay.
What's up, other people coming in? VWCJ, what is up? Vaping with CJ. Sport Life's here. Jerry Lawrence, I don't know if I said hi to Jerry yet. Shane Beekman, what's up?
Yeah, sorry, Derek. I'm trying to remember to mute when I run this drill. I set it up on a hotkey so I could do that. I just forgot to mute it last time. Fucking deal with it. So fucking demanding. How dare you not want to listen to a ripping, roaring drill in your ear?
Yeah, it must be a different sound here because we can't hear it.
Well, Zoom will cut the high frequency off.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to take my micro Clapton and I'm going to Clapton halfway up this 27 gauge. So if I got out 18 inches of micro Clapton, I got a Clapton up at 9 inches. And yeah, I got exactly 18. So at 9 inches, I'm going to stop.
Why are you doing that halfway?
Because I'm going to parallel a piece of 36 there. So.
Oh, cool.
So kind of like I don't know if you do the interlock aliens basically the same kind of concept. I Clapton halfway up and then squeeze another wire parallel with it. So
that's cool.
Wesley Spurling's asking, what's your guys' favorite RDA?
Of all time, I would say the Goon 1 and Goon 1.5 are definitely still up there. I love those decks. I like the Twisted Messes 24 quite a bit. I like the Templar, but I just dropped mine and broke that cap that we were using. It just shattered into a million pieces. So I can't find the other cap that goes with that, so that's going to be on a shelf for a while. Single coil, I love the Point Blank RDA by Osmotis. It's hard to say because I use so many of them that, I don't know, there's not a whole lot of variation between them all. And most are pretty decent unless there's like an issue with them, like a major issue. I don't know, what would you guys say? What are your favorites? Do you have a favorite?
Mine's just now, I've had a lot of favourites, but up until I tried the Ardent. It was probably either the Ohana or
Oh,
the
I love
Rebirth.
the Ohana.
Yeah. Really, really nice to squonk with.
I was just looking at that because I just cleaned all my RDAs. And I was like, oh man, I should set this up.
It's really nice. It's really, really nicely designed. I really liked it. It's so easy to build on as well.
All right.
All right. No way was that enough for 9 inches. I guess the 44 inches of micro Clapton got me 6 inches of Clapton. Man, I
Good
am not.
question.
How much micro Clapton did I do to make that first one? Jesus Christ.
That's a
I had a
really
long,
good
I
question.
remember I had a long bit of it too. I still have like dual coil of it in there. I got like 5 coils out of that section. I don't know what I'm doing here. I must have made a lot of micro Clapton that first time.
Jack Russell in Kenny's chat just did a really good question there. What would your guys' effort and or reward go to coils be? You know, like the most rewarding or ones with the most effort?
Pitchforks. When you do a pitchfork, it feels good if you get a clean one at the end because it's the hardest. It's just the hardest, most technical one. But also, if you could push yourself to do more than that, that's the thing about it is you could always get better and better and better.
Yeah.
You could always do something that you never did before, never seen before. But then, like aliens, if you get your first set of aliens, you feel really good about that. You're probably
Yeah.
just as good as when you get your first pitchforks.
I was on lethal coils last night, and CJ will remember this. Like we were talking about how you get your first set of aliens done, and I actually told my missus I was that happy. You know, I was like, look, Liv, look, I done my first set of aliens, and she's just kind of looking at me like,
Yeah.
okay. You know, yeah.
I'm taking my shirt off. Somebody gonna get pregnant.
Yeah, it's a bloody good feeling. But I'd probably agree with you, Nick. Like pitchforks or a cord braid.
Yeah, braids could be
Don't
too.
put them.
Yeah, see, I always leave that out, but braids could be extremely difficult to do too. Like they're probably my hardest. Like I could get a pitchfork done way quicker than I can get a braid done, or way better than I can get a braid done. So it's different for everybody. There's some people that can just braid really, really good. They're very consistent.
Corey.
Yeah, that can't do pitchforks as good. So there's always something that's going to get you. So now what I'm doing is I have this micro Clapton here. That's done. So this is just 27 gauge with the micro Clapton over. I'll see if I could kind of show you. Okay, so that's a teeny tiny Clapton over top of 27 gauge. There's the 27 gauge. There's the teeny tiny Clapton. So now what I'm going to do is this Clapton is loose. I could actually move this Clapton back and forth by just doing this, like a decor, like an alien decor. This Clapton's moving. So now I'm going to take the 36 and with a little bit of tension with the Claptoning, it will go in the gaps of this micro Clapton. It's going to double in size and it's also going to put 36 in between each of them Clapton things. I'll see if I can get it on camera for a little bit. You'll notice a difference between the micro Clapton and the 36 gauge. So I'm going to get the 36 gauge hooked up here.
God, these fuckers are time consuming. Oh, great job, Wick Beast. That's awesome, man. Like these guys were talking about, that's a fucking amazing feeling when you nail that build for the first time. All right, so I don't know if I'm going to. I might helix these cores with the 34 and then run it parallel with maybe 28, depending on how that looks. We'll see. I think that's what I'm going to do, though. All right. Okay. I'm going to have you teach me how to braid, G.
It's just repetition. That's, like that's the biggest part of it, is just learning the steps and then just copying it over and over and over.
I always get too frustrated because I can't do it, and I'm like, this sucks. I'm not fucking with this anymore.
Yeah. See, I still get like impatient with them. Like you get so far and you spend like 3/4 of an hour and you look down, you've only done like a couple of inches. You've not even get enough for a coil and you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah, you really have to be dedicated to finish one of those.
Yeah. Like, I started doing a cord braid earlier on and I never even finished it. I just couldn't be bothered. It was just taking too bloody long.
Yeah, I bet. That the braid you posted on Facebook was pretty awesome, though.
Oh, the micro
Yep.
vertebrae. That was actually just sitting around waiting to be shot. But I never had a macro lens, and then just got a macro lens over the weekend there. So that was the first thing that I shot with.
So people are talking about a bottom airflow goon. There's a couple variations of it. So there is clone goons with bottom airflow out there.
Oh, really?
There's also the Mask RDA. The Mask RDA was by Times Vape, and it was basically goon clamps with Twisted Messes holes also, and it had bottom airflow instead of side. They had a 24 version, a 30 millimeter version. I have the 30 millimeter version, which it don't vape that great, but there are. But the goon side airflow is awesome. If you raise them coils, you basically get bottom airflow anyway.
Yeah.
So that's always been like one of my favorites. I don't know what the question was earlier. I thought it was favorite RTA.
Oh, if that's the case, we totally fucked that question up.
I don't know. Was it Big G? Was it favorite RDA or RTA?
RDA, I think you said.
Oh, okay, RDA.
Yeah.
So all time, mine's the goon of all time. Right now, I got a couple that I like. The three that I'm vaping right now have been my favorite over the past couple years, or the past like year or so. So the Axle Pro, I'm enjoying the hell out of. The Axle Pro by Twisted Messes and Mass Mods. The Turk V2. And the Wasp Nano, which is a super cheap single coil.
I haven't tried any of those.
Yeah, they're all really fucking good. The M Turk is kind of like, if you like the Goon, you would like the M Turk. It's very airy, but the coils are high, and the air comes from below, basically. It's a side airflow, but the coils are so high that it's coming underneath the coils.
All right, so for this Helix, and especially because it's much longer than I thought it was going to be, I'm putting a lot of tension on these two cores to make sure it doesn't get any kind of weird twist in it. You ever have that when you're doing a Helix and it'll get like a weird twist in some point of it, and they're really difficult to get out? So what I do
Yeah.
is I put a bunch of tension on these to the point where I feel like I'm almost going to break it. And I just let the feel guide me as far as pulling the tension in. Because as you tighten this, it's going to shorten the whole thing. Maybe I can show you guys what I'm doing here. Let's see. Yep. Kind of, right? Let's see if I can move my drill so you guys can actually see. Can you guys see that? I can't tell. But so as I twist, it's going to get tighter and tighter. So it's an aesthetic thing at this point where I want to stop. The more you twist it, the longer it's going to take you to fill in those twists. I find it more difficult the longer you twist it to fill them in. Not difficult, but just time consuming. And so I think I'm going to stop pretty close to where I'm at. No, actually, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get this tight as fuck. Maybe I'll double this, flip this together, and helix that. Is that going to fuck shit up if I helix two of these two helixes together?
Nah, you should be able to do that. Yeah, you should be able to do that. Yeah, you should. Yeah, just don't twist it the opposite way. Twist it the same way.
Is it going to look stupid?
No, it probably look pretty cool. I don't have enough wire here.
What are you missing? Oh, it broke. Okay.
About 5 feet of micro Clapton.
Oh, fuck, that did not.
There's other stuff I could do with it. I could pull a fast one on everybody and just pull out the other one I have and be like, see, did it.
That's what I'd do if I was prepared.
Oh, I got it right here too, I think.
Shit. Okay. Yep, that'll work. That'll work. So at this point, I'm going to attach it to the swivel so I have an anchor point to do the helix with.
For Spark Life.
There we go.
Yep, there it is.
I got to get a pair of those magnifying glasses. The pair that I have sucks.
And I'm done.
Nailed it.
Oh, that looks fucking cool. Oh, yeah, that looks cool. That looks thick, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what I use for that. I have a video where I do it. I should probably just go find the video and be like, yep, see, that's how you do it. I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to twist a piece of 26 with this one that I just did and then helix with it. Because I am not making 5 feet of micro Clapton right now. It's too late for that. My drill's loud as hell.
Yeah, that'd take quite a while, too.
You find this thing.
Derek Rouse is asking, what coil do you like to make, but it's crap to vape?
Oh, quite a few.
Yeah.
Mohawk aliens.
Yeah. Yep. I concur.
I don't really enjoy making Razorbacks, but they're quite the same kind of deal. Sukas suck to vape.
They suck to make, too.
Yeah. Where is this video?
Nickel, I don't usually keep coils for too long in the same RDA. Like most people re-wick. I usually just swap coils.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But then again, most people, well, a lot of people can't build like we can. So, like, I don't know about you guys, but I've got millions of coils everywhere. So I'm in no short supply of coils.
Yeah.
Nick, everyone's saying over in your stream there's just a black screen.
Okay. I don't know why it keeps doing that.
OBS does that sometimes.
Yeah. Just like if I minus the zoom thing, it minuses off the thing. It should be good now. Yeah. Okay. 26 gauge. 26, 26, 26.
Oh shit, Gage. Sorry, man.
I'm sorry, I could get dark sometimes, guys. It can be a little dark.
That's it back.
So what kind of braid you making, Big G?
Spanish.
See.
God, I need some magnifying glasses. I cannot fucking see what's going on here. There we go. Okay.
So Boxcar Rick, I have a video where I do a full coil build blindfolded.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
What
I
kind
did
of coil?
Fuse Claptons, but installed and everything
Yeah.
Holy shit.
from start to finish.
Fucking show off.
Hey, M Turk challenged. He was
He can do it too, huh?
he could wrap alien coils blindfolded.
Jesus Christ, dude. That guy's fucking incredible.
No, just wrap them into coil form. Let's not get too excited.
Oh. Oh, fuck. Anybody can do that.
He did
Mr.
wrap
Rambo.
he did wrap like a whole bunch of them. Like I bet he could. I bet he definitely could. I would love to see it. I bet he could definitely do an alien coil blindfolded. He has to be able to.
If anybody could, it would be him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to know the over under on he had to make more alien coils than anybody else.
Yeah, I'd say.
I've seen him do a couple big jars of coils, and I've seen some other people do like, have a jar, but not like that. Like not how many he does.
Yeah. I don't know how he doesn't get burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
He must fucking love making coils, man.
I done it for a month and a half and gave up.
Paul asked if alien coils vape better than normal fused Claptons or just look better.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like a tremendous performance boost. And I don't know why that is, if it's the grooves that do it, but it's better. Like way better.
The number of
remember who it
cores
was.
also. And it's kind of an open build. Juice could get in there. A fuse Clapton super tight. It's a super tight build.
Someone actually done showed you how it works, how aliens work so well. They turned the RDA upside down with juice on the surface, got it heat up, put another drop on, turned it upside down, and the juice was getting sucked into the wick through the coil.
Yeah.
It just went right into the grooves, like you said. Just like a car tire, like pulling in water.
Yeah. Twisted Messes has that video of an up close alien where he puts a drip on one side of the alien and it makes it all the way to the other side.
Fuck. Fuck. Man, when you fuck Helix up, I was in like a groove there, like totally steamrolling it, and then it messes up and fucks up my Helix wire, and then it's real hard to get that to lay back down. There it goes.
AAV says, yeah, if I was making MTurk money, I would never get sick of building.
What does a pair of M-Turk coils cost?
The aliens are $20 to $25.
Yeah, that's what it should be. I agree with that price.
There's a lot of things that go into doing that the right way that you have to pay for too,
Yeah.
especially when you're doing it out of Jersey.
And he's got staff and stuff too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure to vial it up, he made staff and probably to make decors too. Who knows? He might do it all. I know I've seen other people put them in vials and put the stickers on.
Yeah, Nick, you're definitely missing out. Getting a good set of aliens from a reputable builder who cleans their coils real well, uses premium materials, is going to be miles different and better than using some mass-produced coils out of China. I don't trust what metals they're using, how they're making them, how they're cleaning them. I just don't trust what China's putting out. And there's a lot of love and heart put into coil, like actual coil builders' coils.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. First of all, the ultrasonic cleaning, not everybody does. I know Sherlock does it. I do it.
You're muted, Nick.
What's that?
You're muted, apparently.
Oh, shit.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. So the ultrasonic cleaning is a big thing. I know Sherlock does it. I do it. Not every builder does that ultrasonic cleaning.
That's gross.
Especially during these times. Hopefully everybody is cleaning their fucking coil some fucking way or another.
Yeah, once my coils came out of the cleaner and I did a multi-stage cleaning, they weren't touched at all. They were sealed and not touched after they were cleaned.
Yeah. That's that and what else? Oh, the names that the China companies are putting on them coils usually aren't even the proper names. Like they'll just call a 3-core fuse Clapton an alien, or just like when you open some of them coils up, they're not what they say they are. They might have the alien wrap over it, but it's just like a thick piece of ribbon in there.
Yeah.
It's just, you see a whole bunch of weird shit going on with that. They're just using the names of them because you go, oh, they got alien coils for $6.
Right.
That's damn near impossible.
10 coils for $6?
Yeah. That's just impossible.
Fuck.
It's impossible to make money that way anyway. Unless the machine's making it, but a machine making a 3-core alien, I don't know if that's happening yet.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I don't know if that would be possible to completely automate to the point where it would be like if a coil builder built it. I don't think that's possible.
That would be an extremely technical machine. That thing would probably be huge too. It would probably be a whole warehouse.
You need to be able to judge.
Yeah, it would have to have
wires just
sensors.
stretching ever so slightly and
right.
adjusting for that, every time.
I'm sure somebody could rig up a couple of the steps to do it, but to have like a machine that just, somebody's just pressing a button, I don't think it's possible. I don't know.
With how precise robotics are, though, I could see it happening in the future. They get everything down to a science, and they know the exact tension that the machine needs to put on it, so there's no calculation involved. It just does it. But that would be like a lot of R&D to put such a low retail product out.
I've seen coils that were just like stamped, Like it was like just a piece of metal, and it was just
Really?
stamped with a design. Yeah,
Oh, I've actually seen they're like obviously cylinders because it's a coil, but yeah, it's like that pressed
yeah,
steel. They were
yeah,
popular. They were like notch. I
I've
forget what
seen
they're
that.
called, notch coils or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were kind of like mesh, but just much fatter than mesh.
You're talking about the notch coils. Yeah, they have a whole RDA where you can just snap them in too. The notch
I've got
RDA.
one of those.
Yeah, I do too.
Do you like them?
It
I never
actually
used
vaped
it.
really good, but it vaped really good with regular coils as well.
Interesting.
That's the same thing with like some mesh RDAs, like the profile RDA.
I like the
It's a great
profile.
RDA.
Mm-hmm.
The profile is great. You
It's
put a
just
single a single coil alien in there though, and it works even better.
right. I've heard that. I've never tried it, but it's a finicky thing to
Yeah.
wick with the mesh. Like you really have to spend the time to learn how to wick it correctly.
Yeah, and it wastes a lot of wick when you
It's a
do it too.
lot.
Fuck yeah, it does.
It's like almost 3 times as much as what you would put in 3mm diameter coils. Probably more actually by the time you compact it in. Oh, nice.
I don't know what to
And I
put
just got
this
a
in.
Helix. I'm gonna have to Helix that with some big wire.
Simon Dunlop, I just add a bit of dish soap in the ultrasonic.
Yeah, that's what
Just
I use.
just a few drops. That usually does the trick.
I use a food grade compound that destroys bacteria and skin cells and everything else. And then I also use a sanitizing, sterilizing solution. And then I would do the cleaner first to clean them, get rid of the oils and skin cells and all that like crud. And then I would use the sanitizing solution to actually sanitize and sterilize them. And then I would do cleaning, rinse to rinse the stuff off. And then I would sterilize them after that. And that's what I would do. It was a crazy process though, like really
We're
time
all gonna have
consuming.
to start doing that soon.
It almost seems like you should have like a couple ultrasonic cleaners.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had 3 of
Ideally,
them.
yeah.
I have 3 of them. And because it was too time consuming to like dump it out, waste the product, do the next batch, dump that water out, do it again, you know?
That's what I've done. I have 2 ultrasonics. The ones for wash, the ones for rinse.
Yeah. That's really the best way to do it.
Yeah.
All right. I got to clean this RDA. You guys take over.
All right, so I got to Helix this freaking wire, which basically is just putting a wire up in the twists, all up in the twists, all up in them. We going deep. I think I'm going to use 34 gauge because I need a pretty big wire at first, and then I'm probably going to double Helix it, which means I'm going to Helix that Helix with some wire. So first, I got to get this twisted wire in the drill on the swivel. And so anybody that doesn't know, Wire Talk with Big G also has a channel. He's got a braid tutorial up now too.
Yeah, I've got 2 up so far.
2 of them?
Yep, 2. I've got the Spanish braid tutorial 7 loop. And I've also got the 7 loop Celtic.
Ah.
So I just thought I'd get those ones out of the way first because I know like there's not that many, especially the Spanish braid. There's not that many like English speaking ones anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll get those 2 out the road and then I'll do like the vertebrae, fishtail, and then I'll try and move on to cord braids again.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to practice them again just now, but they're really time consuming.
Yeah, I'll leave the braiding to you. Maybe we'll
Box
do
car.
an episode at some point where you teach me how to braid.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
So, question in there, boxcar Rick. Anybody using the bearing setup from US ohm meter instead of fishing swivels? I'm thinking about getting one. Seems like a better setup. Vault's opinions. You could get the US ohm meters or whatever kind of swivel that you could get from a company like that. You're going to be fine doing like 26 gauge cores, doing 26 gauge aliens. Once you try to like Clapton, even a piece of 28 gauge, not 28. Let's say you wanted to Clapton a
30.
piece of 30 gauge.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to twist. You're going to have to add on fishing swivels. All my swivels, I have added on fishing swivels. This is like
Yep.
a great swivel. This is a ceramic swivel. You can't really get them anymore, but it's like the best you could get. And it's still not good enough for when I'm doing like a 30 gauge Clapton. You're going to have to add on a fishing swivel. Fishing swivels are just more, they're lighter. They're lighter. Like this swivel here, these things get heavy. Like the amount of pressure that has to turn it is pretty heavy, and 30 gauge won't do that because this is so husky. So a small fishing swivel is going to turn a lot easier with a smaller wire. So I always add them on no matter what. I recommend getting both. Get both of them. Get that and get some swivels. But if you're only doing like fuse Claptons, it's perfect. Just get the US ohm meters.
Carl's Irons does the ceramic swivels now as well.
Ceramic
But
swivels.
one of those, ceramic bearings.
It's instead of metal bearings, yeah. It's a little smoother, turns a little quicker.
I'd
But
be
you get one
interested
of
in
those,
trying
you get ceramic with the fishing swivels, and you'll be able to spin anything, pretty much.
Yeah, Kim Dixon makes the wooden swivels, which, yeah, same thing. You could get
Yep.
them. They'll turn for the bigger wires, but once you start getting into smaller cores, if you're going to start getting creative, you might as well get a fishing swivel as well. Most flavorful braided single coil build. I would have to say I haven't done too many of them, but them Celtic braids they vape really good.
They
Really,
do vape
really
well.
good. And they're not super hard to make. Them Celtic braids are no joke. They're really wide coils, and they vape really good single coil. Extremely good.
The vertebrades vape not too bad as well. Just again because of the shape, that holds the juice quite well as well.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Two hybrid ceramics. Two ceramics. Jeez.
I forgot how difficult parallels are to install.
Yeah, it's been ages since I've done anything parallel.
Okay, so
Size 0.
it'd help if my RDA is actually on the mod. There we go. Okay, one side done. These are small enough gauges that I'm concerned with breaking them as I tighten the posts. Okay, I think I got this one. Oh, that's way too tight, actually. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Okay.
Link in my description to Kim Dixon's Instagram. You could just DM her there. Links in the description. Whoa.
Oh,
or
Jess,
you
can
could
I
just
have a 21700 battery, please? Okay, so far so good. I've got off to a decent start here.
Damn, you're installed already? Oh shit.
Getting there.
I started like last week with this micro clap. I'm still not even there.
Well, yeah, I'll just take the pack. Thanks. You guys have inspired me to get back into taking decent photos of coils. So I'm going to set this build up, and I'm not going to wick it, so I could do some bare coil shots and then some wick shots. Maybe I'll do some drip shots. I'm thinking I actually might make a tutorial out of it, too. Because I've gotten a bunch of requests for that.
There's only a few people do the tutorials on the photography.
Yeah. So I'll go through, all right, here's how I would do it with the cell phone, and then work my way up to my, actual setup. So like the first with the cell phone, I'll pull my lamps over and do it like I would do it if I had no gear at all. And then for my real setup, I'll pull out all my flashes and my strobes and everything and do it right.
Yeah. You can do it on a real budget as well. Like,
oh yeah,
you can pick up, like, I don't know if you can see the lamp there in the background next to the drill.
Oh yeah.
You can pick those up for like, I think it's about $30 to $35 for the pair, and they're like daylight lamps,
right.
5500 Kelvin. So they do the job. You just need to diffuse it a lot.
Yeah, and you can use a piece of printer paper for that. That's
literally all I used to use.
Yeah.
I made my own light box out of it, just a box.
Yeah, dude, because coils are so small, a piece of paper is much larger compared to the coil, and diffusing light is all about making the light source larger. The larger you can make it, the better.
Spread it out.
Yeah, for diffusion at least. But sometimes you want to use hard light for coils. Like if you want to backlight it and have like a nice bright edge on the back of the coil, you would use no diffusion. Just hit it bare bulb and really make it pop against a black background. But so those are some of the things I definitely want to cover in the tutorial when I finally get around to doing it. Hey Josh, what's going on? Vans, Ethan, yo, what's up, buddy? Simon, you're very welcome. Jack Russell, what's going on, man? Hey Sam. UL Valerian 2 tanks, sub-ohm tank. What do you guys think?
Sub-ohm tank?
I haven't had the Valerian 2. I used to have the Valerian original sub-ohm tank, and that was really good. It was like the Valerian, the Freemax Mesh. I forget what the first one is before the Mesh Pro, and then the Falcon tank were like the three best. Excuse me, the beer's getting
Falcon is really good.
Yeah, and then so right now, there's a lot of sub-ohm tanks that are like Falcon level sub-ohm tanks. But I'm sure the UL Valerian 2 is great because the original one was. So unless they made some kind of major change to their coils or something, it's probably pretty damn good. And I do still find a place for sub-ohm tanks throughout my life. That's a weird way to say that. I don't know why I say on a daily basis, I still use sub-ohm tanks when we're going to the grocery store, or just I don't feel like dripping the entire time I'm somewhere. A sub-ohm tank comes in handy, and because the performance these days is so fantastic, it's not like a major hit like it used to be.
They've came a long way.
Yeah,
definitely. And plus, you're getting to choose like the wick type as well with a lot of them.
Yeah, there's many options now. There's like tea tree fiber, wood pulp fiber.
Yeah.
There's a million different coil types between meshes, round wires. There's all kinds of stuff. So if you're somebody who likes running 120 watts, super hot and heavy, you can get like a triple mesh coil head and run it like that, which is really cool because there used to not be those options at all. When it came to sub-ohm tanks, you had a round wire build with shitty cotton, and that was about it. So they've definitely come a long way.
I think the last sub-ohm tank that I actually owned was the Smock Cloud Beast King,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
was pretty decent.
Yep.
It was pretty decent. But then it actually came with the RBA section.
Oh, that's cool.
Which, yeah, but it kind of shot them in the foot because
everybody did that.
I just started building my own single wire coils.
Right.
That's what got me into building. You know, just I'm cheap.
Same,
I wasn't going
same
to spend
here.
the money.
Same here. I couldn't afford to buy replacement coils all the time.
Yep.
And back when I was doing it, they were really expensive. Like really, like I was like a 30 ml bottle of juice when I first started was like $30, $25-$30. There wasn't any options like there are today for like, you know, $12, 120 mils and shit like that. And I was trash at making my own juice. But coil heads were like, especially at local stores, were so expensive, man. Like $10 a coil. And the performance sucked, and so I almost immediately went to building my own coils. I don't know how people afford to buy sub-ohm tank coils.
Me either.
Because they're still like $6, $5 a coil.
Oh yeah.
I'm over here typing on my stream. I'm not going to say this on Kenny's stream, but how dare somebody ask a coil builder about sub-ohm tanks?
Oh, it's okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That's how most coil builders feel about it. It's not. It's just a little joke that we have. But
that's true.
I have something I used to talk about quite a bit, and that's building coils was pretty popular for a little bit in the vaping community, and then it got to be sub-ohm tanks really killed it bad. It killed coil building pretty bad.
Well, it's not only that though. I think that's a misconception. I think the fact that the vapor industry blew up and your average vape consumer isn't a hobbyist. They're a sub-ohm tank user or a pod system user. It's only the hobbyist side. I think there's actually more people into coil building based on my experience with how many Instagram profiles and how many messages I get. Like, I think there's a lot more builders, but the market is a multi-billion-dollar market now, and the majority of those people aren't using RDAs, and I think that's where that
climb. I've seen that climb with squonking.
Yeah.
So that's like the argument I have is it sub-ohm tanks it went down and then squonking came back and
that's true too though. Yeah. Squonking took off, man.
And then when Saltnik comes out, it goes down again. It's just always this. It's always you know, what's the most popular thing. And lots of people just always think the newest thing is the better thing. But now we're in this thing where, I mean, how long have you been vaping for, Kenny?
Like 5 or 6 years now.
Okay, so you've probably seen the same thing I do. Squonking wasn't new when it came back out.
No, it wasn't.
Saltnik, all-in-one devices aren't new. That's something we had. That was like the first thing.
No, and Saltnik's not particularly new either. Well, at least like the 50-50 blends at high nicotine levels. That was like what was predominantly available when I started. It was 50-50 blends at like 18 or 20, 24 milligrams.
Yeah.
I had to look for 3.
Yeah, 3 wasn't popular.
No, it's and like vape shops were recommending like 24 milligrams to new vapors. And luckily I had a buddy, my buddy Colin was like, no, dude, start with 3. You'll be fine. Just hit it until the craving goes away. And I was like, all right, cool. And that's what I did. I'm so glad I didn't start on something ridiculously high and then have to wean myself down.
Yeah, there was no sub-ohm tanks or regulated mods when I started vaping either. I actually bought the first regulated mod that ever came out. I bought a clone of. It was a DNA 30. The DNA 30 was $109 or $290 to buy a DNA 30.
Yeah.
It was a single battery, 30-watt DNA. I bought a clone 30-watt for $90. Single battery, 30-watt clone, $90.
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
Jeez.
Oh, dude, man, I have way too much of this now. Why did I make so much of this?
But yeah, Kanger, I think were one of the first, weren't they, to do the squonking?
Yeah.
Kanger Tech.
Yeah. They had like an all-in-one box that you
Yeah.
pushed it and the juice
The
came
bottle
up.
was on the inside of
Yep.
the case. Yeah, that's right.
So Squonk's
Like you
been out
pressed
for
up
a
from the
long
bottom or
time,
something.
but there was never a cheap Squonk. They were always like a high-end thing,
Yeah.
like always $230 for a Squonk. There was no such thing as a $40 Squonk. Not never. The cheapest one you could get maybe 180. That was always like an expensive mod.
Dude, that's one thing I've never really gotten into, but I know at least to me, seemed way more popular back in the day was the high-end market. I know it still exists, but it seemed like way more prevalent back
Red
a
box,
few years
that's it.
ago.
Yeah, the
That's the very
industry
one.
did move too fast for itself. It's hard to like just think if the if just all these things came out a little slower, except for, instead of like every week a company's dropping something
Yeah, I know
and then
exactly
it
what you're
goes out of
saying.
style and within a month.
Yeah, because like once something pops, all the other companies emulate that, and they don't give time to their It's kind of like the industry shoots itself in the foot over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like from a manufacturing and business standpoint, it's a really shitty business model to have to manufacture new products every week
Yeah.
and have no longevity, no staying power for a product.
Yeah, there's an argument that even China killed the vape industry with that shit because that's not how America would have did it, because I remember when you could only get American stuff and it would come out rarely. And it was
Right.
expensive, but it would come out rarely. Like there was 5 RDAs on the market, and then there was 15 in 6 months. There was 15 RDAs and they were all made in America. America.
And then China.
Yep. China. Fuck, this is hard to install.
man.
God damn it.
Kim's asking, are you getting the Rye RDA, Nick?
I'm thinking about it. It's
love to.
cheaper than I thought it was, so I'm thinking about it.
What did the cost come out to? I know we were talking about that, Nick, last time you and I streamed.
I found it for 75 on Coil Cloud.
Did I really just wrap this on a 2.5? Motherfucker. Oh, luckily I have enough, though. Shit. Okay. I'm sorry. How much? 75, you said?
Yeah.
That's not bad, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if that's where it is. I don't know if that was a set. I can't look at it right now. I can look at it on my phone.
You can also get them loaded as well, I think, if you get it in Coil Cloud.
Yeah.
Who's building those?
Depends where you get it. So at Coil Cloud is a builder that sells wire now. Yeah, $75. Yeah. That ain't bad. Yeah, it's actually probably better that you wrapped it on a 2.5.
Well, the other one I installed already was on a 3, so now I'm doing them on a 3.
Yeah. Usually them springy wires will open up anyway.
Yeah, it is like crazy on me. Oh shit! I'm one. Okay, one.
Fact, I'm wrapping
Ow.
this up.
Man, I do not miss doing parallels.
Oh, so if you order it from 99 wraps, the proceeds go to Rye. So they don't always go to the Rye family.
Not all of it, no.
Interesting.
No, they're donating a chunk of the profits.
Hmm. So I wonder how much he's selling it for. I don't mind giving my proceeds to Rye's family. I'd rather do that. But also, it's kind of in that time where people should watch their money. I know some people got their $1,200 and shit, but that should definitely go to rent and stuff. You never know what's going to happen down the line.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Because that's what they're giving it to you for. They're giving it to you to pay your bills. If your landlord calls and says, "Where's my money?" and you say,
Spent it on
I
an
was down at
RDA.
yeah, I got the Rye RDA. Yeah, some people really need that money though. I imagine most people do.
Yeah, it's hard out there right now.
Yeah. I know some people are really good at saving money. I'm not really good at saving money. What I am good at is just always working and always having money coming in. So I'm working still, so I don't really even I don't rely on that money. I never even when somebody says like, we're getting $1,200, I'm like, yeah, I'll believe it when it's in my bank account.
Yep. Now they're talking about doing $2,000 a month for the next 6 months.
That's crazy.
That would be awesome.
That's like that would be great. Even if they did the $1,200 a month, that would be good too. That's great that they do that. Dude, people are gonna start relying on that shit. And it's crazy that they could have always been doing that.
Yeah.
They could have always been giving us back money from our taxes.
Yep.
So that's a meme I seen. It was like, I gave the government 25% of my money last year. They're going to give me back 2% this year. Whoopee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true though.
I'm seeing something similar about over here in the UK. Because of the, as Meter calls it, the Backstreet Boys reunion.
Yeah.
They were promising to house all the homeless. Just free housing. So that means that the resources and the money was already there to do it in the first place.
Right.
You know?
That's a narrative going on over here in America. It's like it's like something like $30 billion a year in other people's countries with war.
Mhm.
And it only costs some like $100 million to take care of all the homeless problems each year in America. And they don't do it. They'd rather go over
because
to
the
other
world's
countries.
on hold at the moment, you know, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you know, the money's there.
But see, the homeless thing over here, almost 99% of the time, is drug and mental health issues.
Yeah.
which we don't
So it's
address
kind
either.
of, yeah, and it's like most of the time the people don't even want help. They're good with where they're at. They're probably all our bums over here are getting something from the government anyway. So I mean, you learn that when you're on the streets, like, and you see what's going on. They're all receiving checks in the beginning of the month. That's why I tend to not give money to people on the streets very often. It takes a lot. It would take like a female with a kid or something for me to do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe just like I'm walking outside, I got change in my hand, and some dude asked me for change. I'm just like, here, I either put it in my pocket or I put it in your hand. It's probably easier to just put it in your hand.
So
So
compassionate.
yeah. Dude, I've been there. I never asked people for not. I always had to fucking. I always wanted to work for what I got. I never wanted to ask anybody. Never wanted to put anybody out. Never wanted to, I always knew people were working hard for their money. I never wanted to do that.
Right.
So I think people should be the same. So people that beg for money, it's just a different kind of person to me.
Yeah.
And I think that, and also tough love's a big thing too with me. It just, some people need to learn by people telling them no.
Yo, panhandlers can make a ton of money.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So if they're making, $500 a day by standing out in that street corner, why would they go get a minimum wage job where they're not going to make shit?
Yep.
But that you got to be okay with being that person holding that sign.
Awesome, Justin. Awesome, awesome.
Man, how do I
KJ
get this
Coils,
fucking
what's
Helix
up?
to stay?
Helix pitchfork
Get
fading.
in there.
Yeah, I imagine the panhandlers here don't make too much money. I mean, in a busy city like Philadelphia, they probably keep up their habit,
Yeah.
whatever their habit is. I mean, if you make, even $30 a day, you're good.
Man, I've got one wrap that's like poking out that I cannot get to stay with the rest of the coil.
Did you try putting it in a bag of rice?
No, I haven't tried that yet. I guess I could turn up the wattage and try to heat these guys. Are you installed yet, Nick? What do you got going on?
I'm about to wrap them.
How about you,
Matt,
G? You got an inch yet?
Yeah, I've got a coil.
All right.
Have you ever seen a Spanish braid, Sherlock? Have you ever seen somebody make one?
I've never seen anybody make one. I've seen them on Instagram, though.
Oh
Sure, I
my
should have been
god.
showing what I was doing then.
They are so fucking complicated.
And that's what you're doing right now, G?
Yeah.
Damn,
There's
man.
like, it's like, like when most braids, it's like on one hand you'll move like the loop. You'll do a certain movement with this hand, take a loop from here, put it over here,
Yeah,
and then stretch.
yeah.
With these ones, it's like you need to go through this finger, grab the loop from here, put it down here, and then you need to come through with this finger, through these two loops, grab the pinky, bring it over, bring that down, and then do the same in this hand.
Oh, fuck
And you do it
that.
all over, and then you stretch. So it's like about, God knows, about
What's
There's
that,
a good
8
like
movements?
16
7
different
moves.
steps
Yeah.
basically before you get to the stretch that you need to do.
Jesus. Yeah, no thanks.
I
But
had
it's
somebody.
like I said in the tutorial though, it's like after a while muscle memory starts to kick in.
Right, yeah, I bet it does.
I don't know. I had Drew on a live stream showing me for like a half an hour, and I still couldn't get it. I was like, wait.
Fuck you. Come on. All right, so for you guys wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to get these things to see how this guy, hold on, right here, it's like sticking out. I want that to go in. Same with on the other side, but I can't get them to stay in, and I don't want to blow past the colors, which I might end up doing as I try to temper this with heat. So I'm trying to figure out, I don't know what to do about it, actually. Maybe I'll just photograph it from a different angle to try to hide that guy. But it's so goddamn springy, man.
There we go.
Oh, that one's
That's one
better.
side.
Oh, damn, dude. That looks incredible.
Yeah, they're nice looking braids.
See, with these ones, you end up with two different patterns on both, like a pattern on each side. They're totally different, you know.
Have you ever twisted that and then wrapped it?
Like put it in the drill and twist. You mean like you would do for helixes?
Yeah.
No, I've never thought of doing that. You know, have you ever followed Builds by Talion?
No.
He does braids like so small, so tiny that he actually uses them as fuses.
Get out of here.
Yeah, seriously.
My last
Guy
build,
is just
a
he's a
couple people
monster.
were doing that. Yeah.
I mean, that would take you forever, you know, because I mean, you saw how long it took me just to get that one coil. And by the way, folks, I am actually wearing shorts, not boxer shorts.
This is a pantsless live show. Sorry, everybody.
I'm right. But yeah, he uses them for fuses. But I mean, it would take you forever to actually get enough,
Yeah.
you
Oh
know,
my
to do like
God,
an
yeah.
alien or whatever. Well, not an alien, but
Of Clapton of any kind, it would.
yeah.
God, you'd have to do so much braid. Was that guy fucking unemployed? How does he have that time?
No, that's the thing.
He has like so many hobbies too. It's ridiculous. He's a German, so he's really good at everything he does.
He does like parkour.
Yeah.
He works out. He goes to college. But then when he gets home, he doesn't have a TV.
That helps.
So
That
Yeah.
you
helps.
know, he just sits and builds.
Oh yeah.
He gets like he'll do like these really long aliens, and he has his girlfriend like hold the other end of the drill while he makes micro Claptons.
That's a good girlfriend right there.
Yeah. Like just
Ask
hold this
my
for
missus
20
to do
minutes.
that. She'd tell me where to go.
Yeah, seriously. That probably takes him forever too. So she's probably standing there like, oh man.
Yeah, he's a college student, so he just does a whole bunch of yeah.
Yeah. He usually has about like 3 months worth of builds ready to shoot as well.
That's what
in
he
advance.
does. Yeah, he'll like take a break from Instagram for like a month or so, and he'll do like a bunch of coils, take pictures of them, and then he'll just post like 2 pictures a day,
Yep.
and he'll have like 3 months worth of pictures all stocked up.
Oh, that's a really good idea, actually.
Yeah, so he doesn't get burnt out from building because he's only doing it once every 4 months or so.
God, that's what I should do. Because once I get
You
all
could
my
do that.
equipment set up to do photography, like it's a bitch.
Yep.
I could definitely do that. I always have way too many coils installed sitting here. It's just also when I get to taking pictures, I like to only do like 2 builds at a time. Usually it takes me a little longer too. But I don't even stack photos or nothing. I just get my lighting right and take a whole bunch of angles and then pick my favorites.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you get into stacking, you're looking at a lot more time.
Yeah.
And that's pretty labor intensive on the computer. Photoshop, even for me, takes forever. And I've got a pretty powerful machine.
World War II German women got medals for having children, if you remember right, huh? Interesting. Makes sense.
Anybody see the movie Jojo Rabbit?
No.
No.
Fucking hilarious movie.
I want to see it because I love Taika Waititi's humor.
Is he the guy who
he's
plays
a really
Adolf
funny
Hitler?
guy. Yeah.
Oh, his fucking performance is outstanding, dude.
Yeah. He was
you know
in.
what? I've got your email. I'll send you the movie. I have it.
Awesome. But yeah, it's brilliant, man.
Yeah, he is fucking hilarious.
He does it so naturally and just totally straight faced as well.
Oh, I know. And it's so funny because Hitler in that movie is the little kid's imaginary friend. Like, he doesn't have a normal imaginary friend. He has Hitler. And whoever that guy's name that it's such a fucking great character, dude. It's such a great movie.
It won the Oscar. It won an Oscar as well.
It should, because it's an awesome movie. Like, I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did.
I think it was screenplay or something.
Damn, dude, I'm getting some awesome gold out of this thing. I might have to stop here so I can do some photos.
Jeez. That's really nice, Nick.
Yeah, dude, that looks awesome. Yeah, that came out cool as shit, dude.
Yeah, I wish I had more of them micro Claptons, but
what would you do if you did? Oh,
I don't know. You know what? I already have one of them builds, so what's the sense? Because the other one I would have did, I basically just would have mimicked this one here.
Mm-hmm.
That one's sweet too. Why don't you wrap that up and install it?
Because I already did. I had that in my one build off build. And I'm kind of saving it I actually have a piece of, I don't know how I got so much of this wire when it just took me so much micro Clapton to do this, but I actually, I still have a long piece of this. I still have a good 5 inches of it left. I cut off 5 inches of it to send to put in a build stand. I have somebody making a clear one of these, basically, a clear epoxy stand.
Oh, cool.
With my coils in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I did that. I did a build with it, which I used a lot in. So I don't know how much micro Clapton I did that initial time to get so much.
What did I do with the cap for that? Shit.
The Hunter.
Here it is.
Kim says she's off for a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, I definitely got some bananas I got to eat up because they're getting a little bit on the old side. I like, did you ever have like a peanut butter and butter sandwich?
No, that sounds disgusting.
It's just toast. Put some butter on that toast.
And then some peanut butter? See, I would skip the butter and just go right for the peanut butter.
That's how we eat it over here.
I love peanut butter.
I'm a big fan of peanut butter as well.
I think there's already butter in peanut butter.
Do you guys get Marmite over there?
I have some. Ian Thomas sent me some. I still haven't tried it.
What is it?
It's like yeast extract. It's spreadable yeast extract.
That sounds fucking disgusting.
It's actually really, really nice. It makes everything taste really savory. But you can get peanut butter mixed with Marmite over here. And it sounds horrible, but it is gorgeous, man.
I gotta try it. He sent me a jar of
It
it.
really is, man. It's beautiful.
It's super salty, super
Yeah.
salty. Like he sent me Marmite potato chips too, and
Yeah.
it was very salty, and it almost tastes meaty. It tastes like
Yeah.
kind of like a beef kind of flavor, and it was good. Like the
You're not
chips were
doing it
good.
any favors. This sounds fucking nasty.
It does, doesn't it? That's why I haven't opened the jar of it yet.
Beef flavored fucking yeast extract.
Yeah.
Here we go. We can spot all the Australians now because they're all saying Vegemite is better.
Yeah, I've had Vegemite, and I didn't really dig it too much.
I don't know what that is either, but with your guys' description of the other one, I'm not even gonna ask.
Now, if you've ever ate a cockroach that just came out of the dump,
The meat in your bones.
Oh fuck! Come on, man. Parallels are a fucking cunt to wrap or install. I'm severely struggling with this.
got some crazy shit going on in this chat over here. I am intrigued. We eat alien coils. They're talking about Crazy Wire. Man, that Crazy Wire really fucked up the UK, didn't it?
Yeah. Apparently they do still have some stock, but they're still going the way of the dodo.
Man, somebody should open up another wire company over there.
There's still a few choices like over here, but it's pricier. That's the only problem. Because Crazy Wire were actually starting to really improve. You know, like their spooling was getting really good. The prices just stayed the same. You know, they were still really cheap. So now we only really have Juice Junkie or Dark Side Wire. Dark Side, you know, Dark Side Coils.
Yeah, I seen somebody said that, and I looked it up the one day, and the prices weren't bad neither.
Yeah. They've maybe changed, but I mean,
fuck.
I need to have a look again.
You pain in the fucking cunt. God damn it.
I think that's the problem. Is Crazy Wire was so cheap that
We were kind of spoiled for it.
Yeah, and that's like, yeah. I mean, some people are just gonna have to realize that wire isn't always that cheap, and if it is, that means the company might be going out of business.
There's Drew.
Oh, what's up, Crazy Face McGee? More Resistance crew in the house. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Crazy Wire spooling.
No, it sucks.
Yeah, I didn't like their spooling. I don't like spools that have, like, some of their spools were like big spools, like Twisted Messes, but the circle in the middle was real small. And that's very awkward for spooling. And also, it had that notch in it. It had that damn notch in it, which was weird when you're Claptoning with it.
Yeah, it does take a bit of getting used to. Bones, they're just moving away from the vape wire game. Apparently they're just trying to move away from vaping altogether.
I wonder how much it would cost to just send a bunch of wire over to the UK.
Probably quite a lot because
it's not too
there's
bad.
a lot of weight.
It depends on how much, and the best thing to do would be like split it between a few different people so they could share the shipping cost.
Like, I'm sure if you got like let's just say you spent $30 for a big old box, you could probably fit so much wire in there.
Yeah, and the post office does do those flat rates, but I don't know if they do them to the UK.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, them flat rate boxes don't work the same for UK prices. You could still use them boxes, but the prices are still different. I actually like one of my first times sending to the UK. I used one of them boxes, and they're like, the price isn't the same, right? Whatever.
Yeah, anytime I've shipped to the UK, it's been severely expensive.
The UK is pretty expensive. Austria is fucking expensive. I'll send a set of coils over there. They're like $30.
Jesus,
Just to
really?
send them.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
God, it's not
Any
even
kind
worth it
of
at that point.
any kind of island I've sent to. Where did I send to? I want to say Puerto Rico. No, maybe because I remember it was actually like on U.S. It was U.S. territory, and I was like, really? They're like, yep. Canada is even more expensive, which is weird because I'm fairly close to Canada. It's cheaper for me to send it to like Los Angeles, which
Than
is way
Canada.
further than
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah, it's going through customs and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the single coil came out much better. All right, so there's two. All right, well, I'm not particularly thrilled with these coils. I feel like that was a lot of time for something I'm not particularly in awe of.
Yeah, with twisted wire, you got to get extremely, you got to do a lot to make it look really cool.
Yeah.
And micro Claptons do take a lot of time, especially if you are, I mean, your drill, you could clamp down without doing it, right?
Yeah.
Without
Yeah, the
holding-
problem is, though, I keep breaking off the core in the chuck. I don't know how to keep it from breaking in the chuck because I put so much tension on the wire.
Oh, well, do what I was doing. That's the easy fix, actually. I take this bobby pin. You could just take 20 gauge too, and I make a loop. So this is a bobby pin.
Oh, yeah.
And I put that in the drill. That's going to keep the wire centered, and it's not going to put all the tension on that wire in the drill. And then I just twist it around that bobby pin.
I've got cotter pins that would do the same
Yeah.
exact thing.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's an easy fix. Did you wrap that braid, G?
Yeah. What's there?
It's like 2 a.m. Tuesday morning where G's at.
Damn, dude. Oh, man, that looks so good. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch your tutorial on braiding.
That Spanish
really,
braid, you're going to be
nice.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What was your tutorial
gonna
on?
take
Is it on the Spanish braid?
Yeah, I've
got
got one for the Spanish braid and one for the Celtic braid. Both of them are 7 loops.
The Celtic braid is very, very doable braid, and it vapes. It's like my favorite vaping braid. It's very doable, and it's almost as good looking as that coil.
That's where I'm going to start then.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I've never actually vaped the Spanish braid, so I'm going to have to try it.
You excited?
Yeah.
That's a lot of effort for that coil.
It is. But it's worth it. I mean, they're really nice to look at.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. God, they're so
Maybe
cool.
one day I'll get to do a micro Clapton one.
Oh, damn. That
But
would
that's
be
like
so
that's
awesome.
like about 3 times as long. Take 3 times as long, do the micro Claptons first.
Yeah. Dude, do that. That would be incredible.
Give it a go sometime.
I want to watch that though. Let me know when you're doing that.
What, the tutorial one for the Spanish?
No.
Oh,
you
the
do a
micro Clapton. Yeah,
one.
micro Clapton. Yeah.
You should live stream that whole thing. I would watch that.
Shit. It'd be a long stream.
Fuck yeah, it would. I think the next build I'm going to do is some sort of pitchfork. I haven't done one in a while. And every time I do a build like that, I never take pictures of it. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to stack a bunch of builds up and then do all my pictures so I don't have to keep pulling my shit out.
You use Photoshop for stacking as well, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I import everything
Jeez.
into Lightroom first and then throw an edit on it and then take it into Photoshop, stack it, and then export it.
Wow.
So it's a process.
Because that's another thing that takes up a lot of space, is like even just the temporary files for all the raw
Dude, yeah.
images,
Yeah, shooting my Sony, they're 8K images essentially. They're like 7,900 pixels by 4,000 something pixels. And so it was like 2 gigs for one stacked image that I did earlier.
Yeah, because I mean, I do mines on Helicon, but I went when I was shooting that braid. I had done a stack and it never worked out too well, thankfully. But so I got to delete it all. But the memory actually flashed up and said, you're running out of space here,
Right.
because it was using up all the temporary space.
Right.
Shit. So yeah, it takes up a lot of space though.
Ever try Helicon Focus for stacking?
That's what I use. Yeah.
That's what Big G uses. What do you use, Sherlock?
Photoshop.
Photoshop. Okay.
Yeah, I use the Adobe suite of products.
See, I have Adobe, but I've never learned how to do the stacking on it.
Oh, it's really, really simple. You go to File, add files into Stack, and then you select them all from the first down to the bottom, and then go to Edit, Auto Blend, and then you check the box about content-aware fill and it'll match all the images up in case you had some jitter or shake in the photos. And it does a really good job. It really does. Like 9 out of 10 times it'll nail it. And you can get Adobe, the whole entire suite. So Premiere, Audition,
that's what I've got, yeah.
But you can get
that's
it for
what I've got,
$20
because I use
a
it for my
month.
intros. Yeah. I use like After Effects and Premiere for all my intros and stuff.
So for anybody who doesn't have Adobe and wants it but doesn't want to pay the $60 a month, if you sign up for their student, you say you're a student, they don't verify the email or anything, so you can pay $20 a month for the whole Adobe suite if you want.
That I'm paying full price for it as well.
Yeah, cancel that and start over. And also, if you cancel, they'll give you a discount to come back if you have an ethical issue with saying you're a student when you're not. But I'm a student of life, so I'm a student.
See, I got too much pride to say I'm a student.
They'll enjoy paying the extra $40 a month.
I'm living on ramen just to justify the price of Adobe.
Yes. It's so expensive, dude.
Helicon isn't cheap either, but I mean, the good thing is you can pay, I think it would work out about $55 to $60 for the year.
Oh, see, that's better.
Yeah, so it's not too bad.
That's a photo editing program?
It's just stacking, but you get the stacking software, plus you get the remote suite as well. So it will just set your focus steps. For whatever type of camera you've got, it automatically adjusts the focus steps as well. You can set a point A and point B as well. So you can start your focus like way back here.
Right.
Start that as point A. Set it beyond the subject so that you get a bit of like the bokeh at the back or whatever for your point B, and then it'll judge all the amount of steps that it needs.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
You just click, and that's it. The camera just starts clicking away.
See, I do it manually, and when Photoshop can't do it correctly, it's because I messed up taking the photos.
Yeah. But it's worth the price, because I mean you're getting the two different software packages for that one price a year, so it's pretty decent.
Now, Sherlock, like
me.
when you're okay, so when you're doing a coil picture, I know that your photo stacks could probably be a lot of pictures. They could be anywhere from like 10 pictures to 150 pictures, whatever.
Yeah.
What about when you're doing like a full, like a model, like a person?
Oh, so I don't focus stack when I'm doing a person.
Okay.
So when I'm doing portraits, for one, you're shooting a lot further away. So the closer you are to a subject, the shallower the depth of field is going to be. It's going to be a finer field of focus.
Yeah.
And so like when I'm shooting coils with the macro lens, I'm as close as it'll let me get. And even at like a wide open aperture, it's still razor thin. But when I'm shooting people, the aperture is more of a stylistic choice. Do I want a ton of blurry in the background, or do I want to be able to see more of the subject? At that point, it's like, what do I want to show? Is the person holding something? So I want to get
Exactly.
more...
Yeah. Like if somebody's holding a bottle or a mod or whatever,
Right.
you want that and the person holding.
Right. And so because I use flash, I... like without my flash, if I took a photo, the image would be black. And then I step by step add in different lights to get the image that I want. And so I control everything with the flash. So I set the aperture however I want it and can tailor my light to the photo that I want. So if I want to focus on just the mod and have the model be blurry, I can do that. If I want them both in focus, I can do that. If I want the entire scene to be in focus, I can do that as well. The more you have in focus, like the thicker that wall of focus is, the more light you're going to need, because the less light that's coming into your camera. So that's what a lot of people don't understand is like if you use a narrow, like as low as the lens will go, so 1.2 or 2.8 aperture, your lens isn't going to be as sharp at that aperture, and it's going to take you way more photos. So the lens's sweet spot's going to be somewhere in the middle of its f-stop range. So like for my macro lens, it's like between 8 and f16. And you're going to want to shoot there anyway, because you're going to give yourself bigger chunks of in focus, and it's going to be much, much sharper than shooting shallow. So it really depends on the lens, the lighting, everything like that. And so when you're shooting models and anything besides macro, it's a stylistic choice.
Gotcha. So probably you're usually with a coil shot, you're taking way more, you're doing way more of a photo stack than.
Yeah. The only other time I would do a photo stack if I were trying to do some sort of landscape where I wanted
I was just
right
thinking
in front of me and to infinity in focus. That would be one reason I would do a stack. I don't know what that means. Helicon, I think if I remember, was around €200.
$1 million. I think the Australian dollar's like 3 or something times more than the American.
Oof, that's rough.
So that's even 200 Australian dollars is still quite expensive, actually.
Yeah. Crazy. I have for my photo camera, which is actually right above me right now, I'm using the A7R3 with the MC11 adapter and the Tamron 90mm macro for Canon. I used to have the 100mm macro L Canon glass. This is like $200 cheaper and just as good. And I actually like the little bit wider depth of field, or a little bit wider angle on it. I would really love the Laowa. I think it's like a 60 or a 50 millimeter macro that would give you really cool perspective. Like you'd be able to get like your build station in the background and still shoot the coil macro, and you could like stack the coil and then have your build station out of focus. But that's like a $1,100 lens, so I'm not gonna be picking that up anytime soon. But I found really good results with this setup. I know the Sony macro lens, the Sony 100mm G Master, is a phenomenal lens. And when I switched to Sony, I was contemplating getting that because the native lens is always going to work better. But I just can't, with having this lens, I can't justify that purchase unless I could sell this lens. If I could sell this lens, I would probably do the G Master or the 100mm macro. But you don't have to spend a ton of money to get great shots at all. In fact, I actually found my extension tubes. And so when I make my video about it, I'm going to do those. And another way to do it, you know what, fuck it, I'll just pull this off and show you guys. Let's see if I can get this out. Okay, so here is, I'm going to have to pull out the battery too because it's corded. So one thing you can do, if you have a lens that will allow you to adjust the aperture, and then when you disconnect the lens, it won't change it back down, because a lot of times the lens, when you shut off the camera, will close the aperture like all the way down. But if you can keep it open, that would be ideal. And then so what you would do is you take the lens off, and you're going to want to put it on manual focus, and you're going to flip it around. And this is going to give you ridiculous macro capability. And then so it's going to be difficult. You're going to have to like really play with it and get the focus down. So definitely do this on a tripod. But so if you've got a Canon Rebel with a kit lens, this will work amazing for macro.
You can get reverse mount fittings as well now, really quite cheap.
Yeah, exactly. You can get a reversal ring, which will hold everything together, which is ideal because when you're shooting macro, you want to either set things on a timer or use a remote trigger, because even just holding it, you're going to have micro vibrations that are going to really fuck up your macro shots. So set it on a 2 to 10 second timer, get a decent tripod, or just a tripod in general, or a stack of books or something, just so it'll be like secure. Yeah. But so there's a lot of inexpensive ways to do really good macro. Extension tubes are great too. The further away from the camera the lens is, the more it's gonna magnify the image. But nothing's gonna be as good as a true 1-to-1 ratio macro lens. But that shouldn't keep you from, that's not an excuse to not be able to get good macro shots, because it's absolutely possible without the high-end gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tubes are great. Tubes are super cheap. They come in like 3 different sizes. Sometimes they're super fucking cheap, like $10 to $20. And so that's a great place to start. If you're getting into it, you're not sure if you're going to stick with it, don't go spend it. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And you've got the electronic ones, right? So they'll do autofocus for you, or which you don't even need. Mine are manual focus. And like, so when I'm doing stacking, I use manual focus anyway. And macro or the extension tubes will work amazing.
Lost one of mine though. I don't know where it is, but it's the one that I used to use as well.
Did you check your cock?
I keep rings on my cock, that's for sure.
I may have left it in the bed.
Reverse mounting. So a reverse mounting would work on even like a stock lens.
Yeah.
To get
so
closer.
As long as that's like, it's a different principle from the extension tubes. The extension tubes take your front mounted lens, like the way it's supposed to be mounted, and literally moves it away from the sensor, which magnifies the image on the sensor. When you reverse the lens, it kind of does the same thing. It magnifies the image, but just in a different way. And so instead of holding it by hand, which isn't the best way to do it, you can get a reversal ring, which threads onto the filter thread on your lens, and then mounts into your camera to hold everything steady. Those are super cheap. Like you could pick a reversal ring up for like $6. Not a great. I would highly recommend the extension tubes over a reversal ring because I personally just don't like the rear element of my lens that exposed. But most of them are reset anyway. But I've like doing macro stuff. I've definitely bumped my lens on coils and things like that. So it's something to keep in mind. But either will work. Some people like one method over the other, but it's definitely an inexpensive way to get into really high quality macro stuff.
What if you did both?
You wouldn't do both. I think if you put extension tubes on a reversal ring, it would really fuck up the image.
Okay.
Yeah. You would really, I think you'd severely lose quality at that point. Lenses aren't intended to be used backwards. It's just kind of like a hack that works. But it's not ideal. Like extension tubes would work much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tubes are so cheap too. Like,
Yeah, I think I picked those up for about 30 odd pounds.
yeah. And that's the autofocus version.
$40.
Yeah, so if you
They
get
seem heavy.
What?
I said they seem heavy.
that's a currency joke.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
If you get the manual focus ones, they're even cheaper. You can get them on Amazon or eBay for dirt cheap. I think I even have some in my Amazon store linked in the description. Going back to tripods, is a macro rail necessary? Absolutely not. Where a macro rail would be really helpful is if you were trying to, if you were using a reversal ring, right? And then you were, a macro rail would be really handy in that sense. I've found if you're going to be stacking, you absolutely do not need a macro rail. Even if I had one, I would not use one because I'm just going through focus. What a macro rail does that you can't achieve with just pulling focus is that you can be at your minimum focusing distance, which allows for 1-to-1 magnification all the way through the stack. Which, when you're just focusing, you're losing that 1-to-1 magnification because you only achieve that at its minimum focusing distance. Well, that's not technically true, but that's why you'd want to utilize a macro lens is for the really close focusing distance. I'm probably getting way over many people's heads here, but so the really close focusing distance, meaning with my macro lens, right? Here's let's say here's the tip of my lens. I can get up like this close. And at that point, I'm going to have 1-to-1 magnification onto the sensor. So as I focus through that, I'm going to kind of lose a bit of that because of the focus breathing and everything. So a macro rail allows you to keep that immediate focus distance, that minimum focus distance, and you physically move the camera instead of moving the focus. Would you be able to tell the difference? I don't think so. So I wouldn't spend the money on it. I would just get a decent tripod that's going to be stable enough to just allow you to focus without moving anything.
That's what I do. I set a timer up on my actual camera. It's a 3-second timer. I got a tripod. I got a cheap ass tripod too. And I hit the screen and 3 seconds later it takes the photo. Now I did notice, like, even if I like let's say if I hit it and I go, it's gonna vibrate the floor, which is gonna vibrate the camera. So you gotta hit it, stay still.
Yeah. So for you, what I would do, especially if you don't have lights, and Crazy Coils, I'll answer your question in a second. But so if you don't have like studio strobes and you're using lamps or whatever, one trick you can do is drop your shutter speed to like fucking slow, like 3 seconds. And that's going to keep the shutter open, allowing light to come into the sensor. So you can fake having a ton of light on that coil by dropping your shutter speed like crazy. But the longer that shutter's open, the more opportunity there is for vibration and stuff. So you're going to want to make sure it's really secure. but you can drop that shutter speed like fucking crazy and get really bright, clear images with not a ton of light.
What's ISOs? Because I dropped that like down to like 100.
Yeah, you want your ISO as low as possible. Your ISO is how sensitive the camera is to the light. So when you raise the ISO, everything's going to get brighter, but that's going to degrade the image quality severely. You want your ISO as low as humanly possible and then add light. That's going to give you the cleanest, sharpest image.
Yeah. But that's different than shutter though, huh?
Yeah, the exposure triangle is ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. Aperture is the iris inside the lens that opens and closes. The more open it is, which is a wider aperture, so a faster aperture is going to let more light in. But that's also going to give you a really narrow, shallow depth of field. So if you look at it like a piece of paper, right, and that's like 2.8 aperture, literally only on that line of that piece of paper is what's going to be in focus. And then as you close that down, so meaning go into like 3.5, up to 6, up to 8, you're looking at now a dictionary worth of focus. And as you go up to f22, you're looking at 2 feet worth of focus. So that's aperture, and that's going to get smaller and smaller hole. The iris is going to close, and that's going to let less light in. So it's going to make the overall image darker the higher that number goes. And then shutter speed is how long that shutter is open to expose light to the sensor. So the longer that's open, the more light's pouring in, making the image brighter. The faster that shutter speed is, it's just going to go like blap, you know, if it's real fast, only letting a tiny bit of light in at a time. You use shutter speed to control how much motion blur is in the photo. So if you're hand holding or you're shooting a moving subject, you want that super fast. So it's just like clap and just taking a snapshot, a really quick image of whatever that is, but you need the light to be able to do that. So with that exposure triangle, you're going to use that to when you adjust one, the others have to adjust to maintain proper exposure. But you can manipulate those when you're on a tripod and you're shooting macro shots. You can do things like drop the shutter like crazy to like a 1 to 3 second shutter to just allow that thing to be open to get a ton of light in. To answer Crazy Coil's questions, if I use strobes, I don't use actual strobes. I use flashes. And I just use Godox flashes with a trigger, and they work amazing. I've never found, even shooting outside in daylight, I've been able to use them. And so like I do event photography, so I use rear curtain sync and drop my shutter so I can get all the ambient. We're getting way beyond macro stuff, but yeah, I use flashes for my photography. Yeah, see, there you go. 1/200th is the general sync speed for flashes. If you wanted to allow more, like say you have a build area, right, and you've got LED lights or something, or you've got some sort of ambient room lamps or something that you wanted to get light in the background. Normally when you use the flashes, you won't get any of that because it's at 1/200th of a second. That's pretty quick, so you're not going to get any of that ambient room light with those flashes blasting because they're so fast. So if you drop that shutter, you can get that ambient light in the room. When you're using flashes, the exposure triangle works completely different than when you're not. Yeah, rear curtain sync. Yeah, that's kind of the way to do it. So like when I shoot events, I'll shoot at like 1/50th of a second. So like if I'm at a bar and shooting at a bar, I can get the lamps and lights and stuff and still get crisp, clear images of the people without it looking like a iPhone flash photo. It looks evenly exposed and nice. I know this is way beyond the scope of what we're talking about, but you know, whatever.
No.
It's still applicable though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Flash is a whole nother ball game, but it's something worth learning. It's intimidating for a lot of people, but it's really simple once you just get the hang of it, like anything else. So softening light, okay. It depends. So there's hard light and soft light. Hard light is, okay, we'll get into lighting. Here we go. So how hard or soft a light source is going to depend on its distance and its relative size to the subject. So I
How much
have
Viagra it took.
exactly. I have a 36-inch parabolic softbox here with an LED light. The LED light itself is literally about the size, maybe 2-inch diameter. If I took that softbox off, this image that you're looking at right now would be ridiculously hard. It would be hard shadows like the sun at noon, right? So
Yeah.
super hard shadows, real high contrast. So
It's one. Is it one bulb?
it's one LED.
That's one bulb,
It's
yeah.
one big LED. Yeah.
But it's actually a small LED. It's a big
tiny.
LED, but it's a small bulb.
Well, it's a 120 watt LED unit.
Okay. Okay.
And it's like a tiny little. Well, it's a big fucking LED. Unlike like the little strips of LEDs, like it's a big fucking LED, and it's got like fans on it, like it's a serious light. But because I have the softbox, it makes that light source much bigger. So just like when the sun's going down at night and it's got longer, even shadows and the light's all beautiful. That's why sunset looks so beautiful, because it's soft ambient light.
The golden hour.
Golden hour. So when you use a big softbox, you're making the light source bigger. The closer I make this big light source to me, the softer the light's going to be. The farther I put it away, just by relative distance, it's going to get smaller compared to me, right? So the sun is fucking massive, but because it's so far away from us, it looks tiny. Same principle applies here. So when it comes to shooting coils, right, it's going to be a decision. Same with when I shoot people. Sometimes I want hard light. I want it to be, if I'm shooting somebody who's like muscular and toned, I don't want to use a ton of soft light because they're going to lose all that definition and stuff. Or like if I want to shoot somebody with like attitude or looking stern and serious, I'll use hard light to get those shadows and that contrast. High key stuff means high contrast. So like that's different from, all right, so when I shoot coils or products, I generally do strip boxes. I love strip boxes. My standard flash setup that pretty much stays on my flashes. I have 3 of them. I have 3 flashes, 2 strip boxes, and one big octa soft box. And so I generally will use soft light for the key light, meaning the main light, and then I'll kick the object to separate it from the background. So like my hair light, for instance, that's giving me this glow and this cutout, that's a hard light. That's an LED panel, not diffused at all, because I want that hard light. And you can see it here on my face when I turn towards it. It's much brighter, much harder. But because of when I'm actually angled where I'm supposed to be, I don't get that light. I just get a little kick here, and it just cuts me out and gives me definition. The soft light is my main light. And so you can see what this light does. If I just had this on, right, it would be actually here, I'll show you exactly, because I've got one right here. So if I was using this as my key light, this looks very different than my other setup. This doesn't look as professional and as clean because of these really dark, heavy shadows. If I put this back, that's a big difference. And so the soft light I'll use as my key light, and then the hard light coming from behind at probably 45 degrees from the camera. This lighting setup, even just 2 lights, fuck a 3 light setup, just 2 lights, and they're like directly opposing each other, will cover like 90% of what you want to shoot. And so if this is lamps, right? Say you have just a clamp light, a work light from Home Depot. What I would do is I would take a bed sheet or a pillowcase and put that in front a safe distance away from a work light or something like that, and use that. So whatever you shine that light at that's bigger, the pillowcase, the blanket, that then becomes the light source. That's how a softbox works.
How far away?
So the further you put it away will alter how that light comes through. It'll make it harder. So the further away you put that light from the diffusion material will just change how it looks. So that light that you have right there, if you put
There's tissue paper over it.
Right, so that's a form of diffusion, but because it's
Yeah.
right there, it's only making it as big as that circle, right? So
Yeah.
if you put it further away and made it bigger, so instead of tissue paper, you used
A
something.
bed sheet or something.
Yeah, a bed sheet. It would make it a lot softer.
What's it called? It's called like Muslim cloth.
Yeah, you could use that, but you could use literally anything. You could buy a white pillowcase and cut it, and because like the thicker that is, the less light's going to pass through it, and that's the other thing. The bigger that is, the less light's going to come through. So you might need 2 clamp lights to get the same brightness, so the same exposure on your image. But the bigger it is, the better it's going to look, essentially. Now, when it comes to coils, you might want a little bit harder light. Again, if you want like harder shadows on the image for some reason, you would use harder light. So just bare bulb clamp light. Diffusing it does look nice though. And so when it comes to products, it's kind of a different ball game. So you obviously need to be able to see it head on, right? It can't be in shadow. It can't be completely dark so you don't see anything. But a general rule of thumb when it comes to product photography is lighting it from behind. That's why I have up in front of me here, I have this LED light. So when I do my overhead, I do have the softbox that spills a little bit of light, but the main light is coming from a 45-degree angle from behind the product if you're looking at my top-down shot. Unfortunately, this light kind of bleeds in and gives me some hard light and weird shadows, but I'm working on fixing all that whole setup. But so for coils, when you're starting out, a really great thing to do is just blast the fucker with light. That's why those light boxes work so well, because it's literally 360 degrees of light. And when you're highlighting products and curves and everything like that, it does look good to have light from like 40 or 90 degrees on both sides from the camera. Or I guess, yeah, that would be 90 from the camera. And literally blasting it. Because you're focusing so hard on it, you're not really playing with shadows and depth in the image and things like that. So you can, like G was saying, making a light box out of. Actually, hold on. Here's my
Usually
Any old cardboard box.
This is foam core. I use this more than I use anything else. And so what this will do. We can talk about negative fill too in a second. But so here's my normal setup, right? And if I wanted to not have so much shadow on this side, I can bring this foam core up. Let's see if I can fit it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
you see it already,
it'll
yeah.
bounce back, right? So you could have one light source with the foam core on the other side, which will bounce back light and fill in that shadow side. And that could be your 2 light sources, right? So it's your main light, and then now you've got this whole board acting as a light source because that light's bouncing off of here, and this whole thing becomes my light source at that point. This is significantly brighter than not having this.
That's usually what I do. Like with the coil pictures, it'll be my camera, my lights kind of tilt it a little bit away from the coil, just a little bit, just not to get too much light, and then something like that right above.
Yeah.
So that the lights are hitting that right above, and then everything, and then that white thing is hitting it down.
Yeah.
Or even a paper towel will hit it down.
Yeah, paper towel, printer paper. That soft light from above always looks great. So like when I shoot products, like when I shoot juice bottles, I'll generally use strip boxes on either side. So I get those lines, especially on glass bottles. They just look really good like from the top of the bottle down. But then I also want to light the label. And this is where I'll do like a lot of Photoshop work. Like I'll do a specific image for the label and composite that in. But I try to do as much in camera as possible. So you can use either, like what I'll generally use is my big softbox right on top, straight down, to give it that really beautiful light to just illuminate everything, and then the hard kicker lights on either side. So it really depends. And the way I learned all this was just playing around with the light and seeing what I liked and what I thought looked good. And with coils, there's kind of no wrong way to do it. Like for beginners, I recommend just plowing the fucker with light. And if you only have one desk clamp light, Like start there. Get a daylight balance bulb, throw your white balance on 5500 Kelvin, so daylight balance, and use a bunch of fucking whiteboard. Like this is like, I don't know, you probably get one of these at Walmart for like $1. And the clamp, like you could be all in with the cell phone for, you know, if your cell phone's already paid for, you're looking at like $20 tops to start taking some much better photos.
There's almost no way, like bringing the light closer to coil pics is probably the biggest mistake I see people do. Like I could look at a coil picture and see like their light's just too far. That's the biggest mistake I see is like their light is way too far. Like my lights are like, if I were to take a coil shot, the light that I have is probably maybe 10 inches away from the coil.
Yeah.
Maybe even closer sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, see the setup I've got here. I showed you that light here.
Yep.
Like,
That's what
I use
shitty
one of
lights,
the
though.
big,
Yeah. Like,
one of the big octolights. That
my
lamp in the
lights are
background.
my lights are very amateur. They're LED light bulbs, let's say 60 watts, which is what most people, 60 to 100 watts. That's what most people have in just their lamps at home. And if you just bring that just the 10 inches away from the coil, I could tell like some people are taking the pictures and it's probably like 1.5 to 2 feet away.
Right.
And you get this real grainy kind of
there's not enough
real
light.
grainy kind of look. If you're getting a yellow look, then that means you're not using LED, you're using the incandescent bulbs, the regular light bulbs.
If you do have so these yellow lights behind me, right?
Mhm.
They're 2600 Kelvin, so they're soft white or warm white is what they would be called at the store. That's even fine. If that's all you have, you just need to adjust your color temperature on your camera, so your white balance to whatever light you're using. These main lights that I'm using, they're all daylight. That's why I look normal, and then those lights look yellow. If these were warm white, so 2600 Kelvin, those would look just white if I set my daylight balance for 2600 Kelvin. So it's about adjusting your camera to whatever lights you have. If that's all you have, fine, fucking rock it. Another thing I see people doing is the light too close, and that'll produce ridiculously real bad highlights, like obnoxious, like blown out highlights. And that's a simple fix, just putting some sort of diffuser in front of even if you're just holding the piece of paper in front of that light, like that would be a world of difference.
Just doing one of these deals with a paper towel does so much.
Yeah, dude. All right, so there's an IKEA.
You can even just see it there. Look how bright it is right there. And then when I put the paper towel over it.
Exactly. See how evenly lit that is now with just nice highlight and roll off?
Yeah, there's no harsh bounce back.
Right. So, and that's like a stylistic choice. So that's why you've just got to play around and see what things do. And it's just about practice. It took me a long time playing with things to get to a point where I could do actual professional images.
Plus the thing with RDAs as well, like if you're shooting coils, you're always moving the RDA about, so you're going to have to keep moving your lighting as well. Every time you're moving that RDA, you need to reposition your lights so that you're catching the same angles all the time as well.
Right. I actually want to show you guys.
That's literally all I used for that micro Clapton braid. This cheap ass light box. A helping hand stand to clamp onto the bottom of the RDA. That LED light, this is all like reflective white, and it just bounces a little bit of light back into the top.
I'll tell you what, them helping hand things, they're awesome to have. I'd much rather them be edited out or cropped out because I hate seeing them.
That's just a choice. Like I used to edit them out, but it's a pain in the ass having to do it all the time.
Yeah, there's so many people that use them that I'm sick of seeing them. I'm just
Wait, what's that? What are you sick of seeing?
The helping hand things. They're like little hobby clips that you could actually
yeah. See, those would be cool to use if you were using those and not shooting the actual clip. Oh, is
There
he
we go.
busting your
Is that
balls?
annoying you yet, Nick?
I didn't even notice it was in yours though, Big G.
Yeah. I just made sure it was kind of
Yeah.
not
There's
the
some
main
people where
focus.
like half the picture is that fucking clip.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even notice it was in yours.
Oh, you guys can't see that. Okay, let me get this. Okay, so there's an image I did. This was actually before I edited. So this was straight out of camera. And this was the 2 strip lights and an overhead softbox.
Oh shit! I fucked it up. Oh Jesus! Here I go.
No, wrong stream.
Oh shit! Now I lost you guys. Why did I lose you guys? What do I have to do here?
I don't actually know.
I totally
still-
lost
Yeah.
the zoom. I guess I'll add another window capture and see if that works. Zoom.
Usually, if you just go into properties, click on something else,
There
and then
we
click
go.
zoom again.
All right, we got it. We're back. G's a little cut off. Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. All right, we're back. Yeah, Jay Blade. So I definitely want to do photo tutorials, but I feel like if I wanted to do it right, I would have to start in the beginning, like exposure triangle, working with light, and really work my way up. So I'm kind of torn on, should I just do, okay, here's a video where I use a cell phone, here's how I set everything up. But like I could show you a million things, but without the really fundamental knowledge of it, it's hard to recreate that yourself. I really wish I could just work with everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Like I want to so badly come to your house and set your studio up for you, even just with what you have. I would love to just reposition a couple things and really get you set up. I wish I could do that with everybody, because once it clicks, it's like, oh fuck, why wasn't I doing that from the beginning? It's so simple. It's like simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Oh, David
Good
Napier's
morning,
just
Cliff.
made his first usable alien. Congrats, David.
That's awesome, man.
So while I got the floor, I'm gonna close down my stream right now because I'm gonna be getting out of here soon. So I'm gonna close down my stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So-
close mine down too. We might as well just end it.
All
here.
right, we might as well end it then. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for sticking in to the end. I know we got way off track here at the end, but I guess it's relevant information, right?
Absolutely, because you don't hear that much on my channel, so it's definitely relevant over here because I don't talk about cameras much over here at all, and there's a lot of people that use them.
Yeah. So, guys, if you have any questions, I know I covered a lot. That was a lot of information to throw at you guys. You can get at me at Instagram. I get back to all my messages over there. Or shoot me an email, but Instagram's definitely the better place. I'm going to put Nick's Instagram and channel link in the description, as well as Big G's channel and Instagram. So if you want to check those guys out, which I highly recommend you do, check out the description. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
End it on that note.
Yeah.
Links are in my description for everybody.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.